Welcome to math for Thursday, December 3rd. Since we can't have the test, we are going to move on to the next unit, and we will be doing math Worktext pages 141 to 144. So you need two of the Worktext pages, and then we'll be doing math reviews, page 141, 142. So I'll do the front of that with you just like I've been promising that I would all during the distance learning, and the back you will do on your own. All right, we're going to be talking about more measurements. Another reason for the paper that I gave you before the distance learning started, it has all the measurements on it that we're going to be learning. Since it is the introduction unit, we'll talk about several different types of measurements, but we're going to focus today on measurements of weight, how much something weighs. Okay, so I need to read to you the story first, so you can look at page 141 and see the picture that goes with this story. It's a ride to remember. Haley beamed. Today was the day for National Park number 30, Grand Canyon State Park. It was time for another adventure. Cold water splashed her as she set out with her group on a whitewater rafting trip down the Colorado River in the Grand Canyon. Horatio squealed in alarm. "Don't worry, Horatio," Haley said. "As long as you stay with me, you'll be okay. I have a life vest." Jackson, the rafter across from Haley, laughed. "I guess your little squirrel friend doesn't feel as enthusiastic about our trip as we do." "I guess not," Haley laughed. "If he would stop squeezing his eyes shut, he would see how beautiful the Grand Canyon is. Every moment the blues, purples, and golds of the canyon change colors." At that, Horatio peeked, one eye open to look around. "To be honest," Jackson admitted, "I'm nervous about the rapids. The guide said they're supposed to be pretty crazy. As long as we follow his signals, we should be able to have a blast and stay safe. We'll have to work together to get through the rapids successfully," Haley said. "We'll see if you're this confident when we're actually in the rapids," Jackson replied. "You might act more like your squirrel then." As Jackson was speaking, Haley started to hear a rumble in front of them. Their guide began shouting directions. "All right, brace yourselves and make sure you follow my instructions in the rapids." What started as a low rumble began to sound like thunder. Before Haley knew it, they were coming out of the rapids. "Wow, that was the coolest thing ever," Haley exclaimed. "It felt like we were being tossed around like rag dolls." Suddenly their guide yelled, "Man overboard!" Haley looked around. Jackson wasn't sitting across from her anymore. "Oh no," she said. One of the rafters pointed. "Look, he's on that rock over there." Their guide managed to get the raft onto the bank, and then he started working to figure out how they would get to Jackson. "He's on the other side of the river, and there's no shore over there, just the rocks that Jackson is lying on," the guide said. He looked through a pair of binoculars. "I think he's passed out. Maybe he hit his head on a rock under the water. I think I see some blood." "Why don't we just paddle across with our raft?" asked Haley. "We would if we could," the guide explained, "but we can't paddle up the rapids, and there isn't a bank over there that we could drag the raft onto." He pulled out a chart. "The river is about 100 feet across here, and I have 40 yards of rope," he said. "I can swim the rope across with the life preserver, but if the rope is too short, I'll be in trouble, since I'll need you guys to pull us back across. I just have to think about how many feet are in 40 yards. "You're talking to the right person," Haley said. "I love using math, and this time it might just help us save Jackson's life." All right, so how many feet are in a yard? That's one thing we're going to need to know. And I just happen to have a ruler here, and I'm sure you remember from second grade that there are 12 inches in a foot. Your ruler actually is a foot, the one you would have in your desk back at school, 12 inches in a foot. So 12 and 12 is 24. We know that from our clock, right? 24 hours in a day. But then another 12 to make this yard 36 inches in a yard, but that would be 3 feet. 12 inches and a foot, another 12 inches, and another 12 inches. Okay, so that's 3 feet in a yard. Okay, and we'll be doing that problem on our paper. Okay, so go ahead and turn your paper over and let's look at the other side. So on the other side, the first problem says, well, first look in the yellow box and it says, math helps people help people. We've already had that little saying about math before. Haley is taking a pack with water and snacks on the whitewater rafting trip. Her pack weighs 40 ounces. The weight limit for each rafter's pack is 3 pounds. Is Haley's pack within the limit? All right. So what we're going to have to do is decide if 40 ounces is greater than or less than 3 pounds, because the limit they can take is 3 pounds. All right, so we're going to fill in that little chart. I'm going to write some of it on the board. All right, so the first line of the chart says pounds. And the second line says ounces. So 1, 2, and 3 pounds. I'm going to move the camera just a little bit because I just realized there's a glare on part of what I'm writing. So 1, 2, and 3 pounds. And underneath it, we're going to put the ounces. All right? So what we need to know is how many ounces are in a pound. And that's what's on one of my charts today. And that is that there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. 1 pound equals 16 ounces. Notice this is the abbreviation for pound, LB. Very unusual. And this is abbreviation for ounces, OZ. Okay? LB and OZ. All right, so look at the chart again. So if there are 16 in 1, that's what you need to write underneath the 1. 1 pound is 16 ounces. All right? So then we would need to add 16 plus 16. And I wrote that too high for the camera to see, so let's move it up a little bit. All right, 16 plus 16, 6 and 6 is, good, 12. Rename the 1, 1, 2, 3, so 32. So underneath the 2, we're going to put 32. All right, but now we have 32, but we need to add one more set of 16 because 1 pound is 16 ounces, so 2 pounds would be 16 plus 16 or 32. So 32 plus 16 again, 2 plus 6, 8, 3 plus 1, 4, very good. So 3 pounds would be 48 ounces. Now, so what you need to do is above where it says 40 ounces, let me erase this so I can write it. It says 40 ounces, and then they have a circle, and it says 3 pounds. So above the 3 pounds, we need to change that to ounces so that we are comparing ounces to ounces. Okay, we need to be comparing ounces to ounces. So if you look here, you said 3 pounds is 48 ounces. So above where it says 3 pounds, you need to write 48 ounces. Okay, so you would write 48 ounces above the 3 pounds. And now you're going to say greater than, less than, or equal to. So 40 ounces, 48 ounces. Which one is larger? That is. So 40 ounces, which is what her pack weighs, is less than 48 ounces, which is the 3 pound limit. So is she good? Yes, she is. So you also are going to write, sorry about that, You also are going to write the sentence that yes, her pack is within the limit. Yes, her pack is within the limit. Maybe I should write that on the board, but I did not even give myself very much room. So you know what? I'm going to erase my work. You do not erase your work. You need to leave your work there. So you should have shown this work. So just write yes, her pack not going to work. I really am going to have to erase my work. I was just afraid some of you didn't show your work yet. All right, at the bottom, you will write, yes, her pack is within the limit. Yes, her pack is within the limit. This is when the board at school comes in really handy because it's so much bigger than this. All right, so yes, her pack is within the limit. All right. I'm just going to leave the camera like it is and just teach you like this now. All right, so go and finish writing that. And I'm going to go ahead and start reading the next problem while you finish writing what you need to write. Okay, you should have shown me the work of 16 plus 16 and then adding another 16 to that. Okay, I need to see the work. Just like if it was a regular paper, you need to show me the work. Because there's very few of you that could add 16 and 16 in your head. Some of you might be able to, but I still want to see the work. All right, let me read the next problem. The next problem says the guide used a checklist to determine items that need to be in each raft. The checklist shows the name of the item and its appropriate length. Which would be the better estimate for each item? All right, so the first thing is a flashlight. All right, so they are saying, is a flashlight going to be 8 inches or 8 feet? If it was 8 feet, a flashlight 8 feet, that would be 8 of your rulers long. That would be a little hard to handle, wouldn't it? So 8 inches. So bubble in 8 inches. Very good. The first aid kit. Is it 12 inches or 12 feet? Again, 12 feet would be 12 of your rulers long. A first aid kit? So I'm pretty sure it was just 12 inches, the length of one ruler. So 12 inches, again, inches. The next one is the oar. That is what you paddle the boat with. They're saying, is the oar 10 inches or 10 feet? So if you had a oar that was only that long, that's about 10 inches. I could pick up my yardstick. All right, so I was right. I was about 10 inches. All right, 10 inches. That's not a very good oar, is it? It's not going to move the boat very much, is it? So you would need a big, long oar, so 10 feet would be a better length for an oar. So pick 10 feet. And the last one says a rope. Now, he had said that he had a rope that was 40 yards. But they're saying that this rope is either 20 inches or 20 feet. Again, 20-inch rope. That would be to here. That's not a very long rope, is it? It's not going to help very much. That might reach from you to the person sitting beside you in the raft. That would not do any good if you were trying to rescue somebody. So 20 feet, very good, would be that much better answer for a rope to help rescue or do something with. 20 feet. All right, moving on to number 3 now. Jackson fell into the rushing waters of the river and is now stranded on the other side. The river is 100 feet wide. The rescue rope is 40 yards long. Is the rescue rope longer than 100 feet? All right, so I'm going to erase what I have on the board, and we're going to do this problem together. Hopefully you were finished with that. All right, the first thing it says is 1 yard equals how many feet? All right, you should remember that from last year. There are 3 feet in a yard. I hope you know that. 1 yard equals 3 feet. All right, the next thing says that his rope was 40 yards long. So 40 yards times the 3 feet in a yard. They did not actually put the word yard, did they? So we're not going to put it. 40 yards times 3 feet in a yard is going to tell us how many feet 40 yards is. Okay? So let's show the work. Go over to the side. You have room on this side of it. I'm going to write feet a little bit smaller. So I have room. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to write the work like this. 40 times 3. I just realized I need to move the camera again because you cannot see the work. Sorry about this, guys. There we go. All right. Now there's a glare somewhere else. There we go. Put it over there. All right. So, 3 times 0. 3 times 0. Very good. 0. I hope you said 0. Remember we learned 0 property? 0 property is any number times 0 is going to be 0. And then we have to say 3 times 4. 3 times 4? 12. That better be what you're saying. So that means 120 is your answer. So 40 yards times 3 feet in a yard is 120 feet. 120 feet. All right. The next thing you're going to see is you're going to actually write it out as 40 yards is equal to 120 feet. So it probably doesn't say feet up there, does it? When you're just doing 40 times 30. No, it doesn't. All right. And then they're going to use the abbreviation down here, 40 yards, and the little circle for greater than, less than, or equal to. And over here, you will have 120 feet. You had to fill that in because you didn't know it yet. Actually, they already put it. Never mind. So 120 feet. Now we have to change them to be the same. Actually, this wasn't 120 feet, was it? It was 100 feet. I'm sorry. This was 100 feet. That's why it was already there. Because that's how far across it was to the other side. My mistake. All right. So it was 100 feet across to the other side. And they have 40 yards of rope. We just figured out that 40 yards is 120 feet. And again, you have to compare like. Yards and feet are not the same. So we have to change 40 yards to 120 feet. So since we figured out 40 yards is 120 feet, above 40 yards, write 120 feet. So we are comparing 120 feet to 100 feet. So which one's bigger? 120 feet. So gobble that one up. So 120 feet, which is the length of the rope, is greater than 100 feet, which is how far it is across to the other side. So you're going to say, yes, the rope is longer than 100 feet. So that's what you'd write at the bottom. Yes, the rope is longer than 100 feet. And you can put the abbreviation because this is just for math, so I would allow you to put just the abbreviation. Right. So, if you need to pause this so you can finish writing that, then you go ahead and pause it. Okay, but I am going to erase it Or at least I'm going to move the camera back down to so we can do our next paper, right? Because we're going to talk about ounces and pounds. You know what? I don't need to erase it, do I? I could just go on. Let's go back and review this again. All right, so we're doing measurements of weight, okay? So how much something weighs. Sometimes this kind of scale is used in kitchens, right? And this is the kind of scale that you would probably get on to weigh yourself, similar to that anyway. And then they talk about comparing ounce to pound. A slice of bread is very lightweight, and that would be about an ounce, where the whole loaf of bread would be about a pound. Okay, so that's comparable. Ounce, slice of bread, pound, loaf of bread. Then we need to know this measurement for weight. 1 pound. There's quite the glare on that, isn't there? Find a place where there's no glare. There we go. 1 pound equals 16 ounces. And again, you need to know the abbreviation for pound is LB. The abbreviation for ounces is OZ. And then the average weight of a third grader is somewhere between 60 and 70 pounds, right? Average weight of a third grader. Does that mean that all third graders weigh that? No, it doesn't, right? Because all people are different. But that is a 60 to 70 pound would be the average weight, okay? All right, let's go ahead and look at our next page together. And you see at the top, this is page 143 and 144. And you're going to see at the top ounces and pounds. All right, so at the top it does show again that little slice of bread, 1 ounce, and the whole loaf, 1 pound. And it shows again the measurement, 16 ounces equals 1 pound. All right, so we're going to look at these objects and we're going to think of the real life object and pick the better measurement for that object. All right, the first one is a suitcase. So our suitcase is light or heavy. Usually they're going to be heavy, aren't they? So that would be measured in pounds. So pick pounds. Bubble in the pounds. All right, and then they show a hamburger. Okay, a hamburger is only made with 2 buns, so think of them like slices of bread. So it's not the whole loaf. Even with the meat and the cheese on it, you would still measure in ounces. Very good. So ounce. So pick ounce for the hamburger. Your cat. If you have a cat looks like a fully grown cat. So a cat would be weighed in pounds. Think of it. A cat would probably weigh more than a loaf of bread. Okay, so that's got to be pounds. If a loaf of bread is at least a pound, some loaves of bread are probably more than a pound. But a cat's going to be weighed in pounds. All right, moving on to the next one. This time they're actually putting a number with it. So think of the real object, a key fob with a key. A key fob with a key with that. Oh, I skipped one. I'm sorry. I skipped to the whole second row. Let's go back up to the first row. The first row, and I can't tell what that is. A box of something. And my camera is not focusing on it, so I still can't even read it. Me with my little tiny page. And you guys are probably trying to tell me what it is, aren't you? I really can't get it to focus in on it. I can't hold it at the right place. Brown sugar. I finally got it to focus in on it. So that is a box of brown sugar. So would the box of brown sugar be 1 ounce or 1 pound? Remember, an ounce is very, very lightweight, like just 1 slice of bread. So if you can imagine holding a box of brown sugar and 1 slice of bread, is that going to be 1 ounce or 1 pound? Right? Hopefully you picked 1 pound, because a slice of bread is like 1 ounce. A box of brown sugar would weigh more than a slice of bread. All right, the next thing you see is a stack of books. All right, so is a stack of books going to be 2 ounces or 2 pounds? That's a pretty big stack, and they look like hardback books to me. So 2 ounces would be about 2 slices of bread, right? So that's pretty light. So I would go with 2 pounds. Very good, 2 pounds. All right, the next one is a loaf of bread. And we've already talked about this one several times. One slice of bread, about an ounce, so the whole loaf of bread is 1 pound. Very good. Remember, pound is LB. Don't forget that. Now the key fob. Key fobs would be pretty lightweight. They're giving you a choice of 2 ounces or 2 pounds. All right, so the key fob would be 2 ounces. Very good. Next is a bag of flour. A bag of flour, if you've ever picked it up helping mom, then you know it has a little bit of weight to it, doesn't it? So a bag of flour, would it be 5 ounces or 5 pounds? 5 pounds. They sell them as a 5-pound bag. Very good. The last one in that row is a box of candies. So the whole box of candies. Now remember, there are 16 ounces in a pound. So they're saying 14 ounces or 14 pounds. All right. So 14 ounces is almost a pound. That's not too big of a box of candy. It's a decent sized box, but it's not too big. So I think 14 ounces is better than 14 pounds. 14 pounds of candy would be quite a bit. That would weigh as much as my little dog. All right. In the next section, this is where we're going to have to learn that you are going to change both sides to be the same. So now I am going to have to erase this because I am going to do these on the board with you because I want to show you what you must do. All right, so the first problem we're going to do is 12 ounces and compare it to a pound. Make sure I can see. All right, and I do have it with abbreviations, so you put 12OZ and they're comparing it to 1LB. Okay, so we have to change so they're the same. So let's change the pound, because it's hard to change 12 ounces to a pound because there's not that much in a pound. So what is a pound? How many ounces? Remember the chart. 16 ounces. So over here on this pound side, I want you to write 16OZ. Because 1 pound is 16 ounces. Now you're comparing 12 ounces to 16 ounces. So therefore, you're going to say that 12 ounces is less than, put in a less than sign, gobbling up the 16 ounces, which would be more. All right. The next one is 16 ounces. And you're comparing it to 1 pound. And again, even though you know it already, I still want you to write it. So change a pound to how many ounces? How many ounces in a pound? Put little 16OZ above it. So you know 16 ounces and 16 ounces is equal. It is the same. Okay? But I still want you to write so that you are comparing ounces to ounces. You're still going to write it above it. All right? All right. Next, I'm forgetting to put the period. You do need the period. The next one is 8 ounces and a pound. So 8 ounces and 1 pound. Okay, so again, I want you to write it above it every time. So a pound is 16 ounces. So write 16OZ above it and gobble up the bigger one. That would be the pound. So 8 ounces is less than 1 pound, which is 16 ounces. 8 ounces is less than 16 ounces. All right. The next thing you're going to do is look at a little candy weight chart. Okay, so the little chart has different kinds of candy on it. All right, the first one says candy bar. Candy bar is 8 ounces. Gummies are 20 ounces. Licorice is 16 ounces. And a lollipop is 4 ounces. I'm going to answer some questions using that chart. The first one said, which candy weighs exactly 1 pound? All right, well, what's 1 pound? 16 ounces. So which one weighs 16 ounces? That would be licorice. So copy the word licorice on that line. Licorice. I like cherry or strawberry licorice, but I'm not too keen on that black licorice. Wonder how many of you, I'd have you raise your hand if you like black licorice. There are some people that do. All right, next, number 14 says, which candy weighs more than 1 pound? So that's more than 16. So that would be the gummies, because they weigh 20 ounces. So on that line, you need to write gummies. All right, the next thing you're going to do is you are going to find out how many lollipops would make 1 pound. All right, so this is what you need to do. You're going to have to show me a little bit of work. So drop down below there. There's room. And you're going to say that the lollipops, well, first of all, how many ounces are in a pound? 16. And you're going to divide it by, how much does a lollipop weigh? 4. So 16 divided by 4. Right, we were doing this when we were doing division. 4, 8, 12, 16. So 16 divided by 4 is 4. So that tells you how many lollipops it would take to make a pound. Okay, because each lollipop was 4 ounces. So on the line you are going to put 4, because that was our answer. Show me the work below there. And write the label of lollipops. How many lollipops? So 4 lollipops. You need to write that label. Okay? Next, you will turn your paper over as soon as you finish writing 4 lollipops. And again, if you need to, then pause the video while you finish writing that. All right, on the back, the very first thing you're going to see is some little candies. And they're asking, would you measure those candies, little tiny cluster of candies, an ounce or pound? Candies don't weigh much. If I gave you a few candies in your hand, that would definitely be just ounce. And then a donkey. A donkey, that one's pretty easy. Donkeys would weigh quite a bit, so that would definitely be pounds, right? And then they show a little dresser. Piece of furniture. So a piece of furniture would be a little bit heavy, so that would be again pounds. Very good. All right, the next thing they show is, it looks like a little container of paper clips, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And so a little container of paper clips, that would not weigh very much, so that would be measured in ounce. Very good. It would be measured in ounces. It doesn't mean it only weighs an ounce. They're just saying that's what you would use to measure it. You wouldn't measure it in pounds because it wouldn't weigh pounds. It would only weigh ounces. All right, and the next one, it looks like a letter. All right, and a letter is pretty lightweight, so that letter would be measured in ounces again. Very good. All right, the last one in that row is a bag of potatoes. A bag of potatoes, when you buy the whole bag, you're buying them in pounds. Very good, pounds. All right, that would weigh quite a bit. All right, usually you can buy them in 3-pound bags or 5-pound bags. Sometimes if you're buying a lot, you can even buy them in a 10-pound bag. Okay, all right, moving to the next one, it looks like a bar of soap. Okay, a bar of soap. All right, the bar of soap, would that be 4 ounces or 4 pounds? Let's hope it's 4 ounces, because if you dropped a 4-pound bar of soap on your toe, that would hurt. Ooh. All right, bananas, the whole bunch, not just one, but the whole bunch of bananas would be about 2 ounces or 2 pounds? 2 pounds, okay? I'm thinking even one banana might weigh more than 2 ounces, but maybe one banana would be 2 ounces, but the whole bunch of bananas is definitely going to be 2 pounds. Then you have a bag of apples. A bag of apples, 3 ounces, 3 pounds. The whole bag of apples, 3 pounds. 3 pounds, 3 lb. All right, in the next row, we see a can. We got to figure out what this is. A can of tuna. A can of tuna. Would a can of tuna be 6 ounces or 6 pounds? All right, just a small can of tuna, 6 ounces. Ounces. All right, and then a tube of toothpaste, 4 ounces or 4 pounds. Tube of toothpaste would not weigh that much, so that's going to be 4 ounces. Very good. And the last one in that row, I can't see what it is. A bag of beans. A bag of dried beans, like you would put in for soup or something. All right, so it's a bag, the whole bag, 1 ounce or 1 pound. They give you a choice between 1 ounce or 1 pound. Remember, 1 ounce is just like a slice of bread. So 1 pound of the whole bag of beans like that, dried beans, it would weigh a little bit, so that would be 1 pound, not 1 ounce. All right, then we have some weights of balls. How much do balls weigh? So basketball is 21 ounces. Football, and I can't see it. It won't focus on it. There you go, 15 ounces. Soccer ball, 16 ounces. And a volleyball, 10 ounces. So it says which two balls weigh about the same. All right, about the same. So those two that are closest are the 15 and the 16, right? So that would be the football and the soccer ball. So those are about the same. There's only 1 ounce difference between them. So go ahead and write football, soccer ball on those two lines. Football, soccer ball. All right, the next question says, which ball weighs the most? All right, so that would be the one that weighs 21 ounces, which is the basketball. Very good, the basketball. And which ball weighs exactly 1 pound? What is 1 pound? 16 ounces. 16 ounces in a pound, so the one that weighs 16 ounces is the soccer ball. Very good. All right, I'm going to get the other paper, but you need to go ahead and do those 3 division problems at the bottom. 20 divided by 5. Count by 5s to get to 20. How many groups did you make? 30 divided by 5. Count by 5s to get to 30. And 25 divided by 5s. They're all dividing by 5. So let me switch out my book while you finish that up. You should already have your paper ready there. All right, remember we're just going to do the front of this together. All right, so on page 141, 142 of your reviews, 1 ounce, like a slice of bread, 1 pound, like the whole loaf of bread, and 16 ounces, which is abbreviated OZ, is equal to 1 pound, which is abbreviated LB. All right, we'll start with a stack of books. We already had a stack of books. We know we measured it in pounds. Very good. Then just a popsicle. Measure it in ounces because it's not very heavy. And then a puppy. That is a puppy, but even a puppy would be measured in pounds. He looks like a pretty fluffy puppy. Maybe when they're first born, newborn, they might be ounces, but they grow quickly. All right. Think of the real object. All right. Cracker Snacks. A whole box of Cracker Snacks, not just a little handful. A whole box of Cracker Snacks would be a pound. Not 1 ounce, but 1 pound. A little boy looks like he might be about 3rd grade. Remember the average weight of a 3rd grader? That would be 60 pounds. Very good. And then a chocolate bar, just the kind you would eat by yourself. That would be ounces. You shouldn't be eating a 2-pound chocolate bar. You would end up with a tummy ache. All right, then another bag of potatoes. We already had a bag of potatoes. So a bag of potatoes is pounds. Very good. 5 pounds, not 5 ounces. All right, and then they show a sandwich. Knowing a sandwich is made up of 2 pieces of bread, so there's already 2 ounces there. And then whatever is on the inside, and this one looks like it's stacked pretty high, so that would be 4 ounces, not 4 pounds. Very good. And the last thing they show you is a backpack filled. Think of your backpack when you were going home for distance learning. So definitely 6 pounds. Woo, not 6 ounces. All right, the next one, I'm going to erase the board because we're doing another one of these where you have to change so they're both the same. So the first one says 1 lb, which is 1 pound. Oh, that's supposed to be a circle. And 16 oz, which is ounces. So we're going to change the pound side so that it's the same in ounces. 1 pound is 16 ounces. Right? I know you already know this, but I still want you to show me the work. 16 ounces equal. Okay? The next one says 22 ounces. And this side says 1 pound. All right, so again, above the pound side, how many ounces is it? 16. So put 16 ounces. So now you're comparing 22 ounces to 16 ounces because ounces is the same as ounces. 22 is bigger than 16, so gobble that one up. So you're saying 22 ounces is greater than 16 ounces. And the last one says 10 ounces and 1 pound. So again, above the 1 pound, you're going to write 16 ounces, 10 ounces, 16 ounces. 16 ounces is larger, so gobble it up. 10 ounces is less than 16 ounces. All right. It says Maria needs 2 pounds of snack mix to share with her class. She has 18 ounces. Does Maria have enough mix? All right, so then they have another one of those little charts. It says pounds, and it says ounces, and it says 1 pound, and it says 2 pounds. So 1 pound is easy. What are we going to put? 16. Very good. And then, in case you don't remember, you can come over here and say 16 plus 16 for the 2 pounds. 6 plus 6? 12. Carry your 1. 1, 2, 3. So the answer is 32. So under the 2 pounds, write 32. So 1 pound is 16 ounces. 2 pounds is 32 ounces. All right. She has 18 ounces, and she needs 2 pounds. So underneath it, it says 18. That is not good. It says 18, and they actually have it written out. So I'm going to go ahead and write it out. 18 ounces. And over here, 2 pounds. Now we just figured out how many ounces is 2 pounds. 2 pounds is 32 ounces. So above the 2 pound side, I'm going to let you abbreviate this time. Put 32 OZ. 32 OZ. 32 ounces. So 32, 18. Gobble up the bigger number, the 32. So 18 ounces is less than 32 ounces. So if she needs 2 pounds, which is 32 ounces, and she only has 18, does she have enough? No, she does not. So bubble in that word no over on the left-hand side of your paper. No, she does not have enough. She only has 18 ounces, and she needs 32 ounces. All right. On the back of this paper, which you're going to do on your own, you have a review from long, long ago where you're doing 1 less and 1 more for the first section, 10 less and 10 more, changing your tens column, and then 100 less and 100 more, changing your hundreds column. Then you're going to take the numbers in the middle box and put them in the even column or the odd column. Don't forget, even or odd, you're only looking at the ones place. The ones place tells you where to put it. Then you're going to round to the nearest 100. So who's the boss? The tens column. And then you round to the nearest 1,000. So who would be the boss? the hundreds column. Then you're going to write those word form into standard form. So just make sure you read them carefully. Okay? All right. Next, I'll see you